Morning all. Well, it's beautiful foliage season and I have a new commission. I'm working with the restaurant at Number One Bruton where I already do flowers every week for Number One Bruton, and they have a new restaurant just launched there. I hear it's extremely good, called Briar in Bruton, and they have asked me to do flowers there every week. So I am doing my first piece for them. Actually, it's not every week, it's every fortnight, which is challenging with locally grown flowers where we don't use any chemicals. No, I don't use any flower preserving sprays or drops, or there's no bleach in the water, no sugar, no 2p pieces, none of that. So it's a challenge to do something that's going to last a fortnight, and they don't want any flowers. They want it to be very green. So it's an interesting challenge, and we'll see how we go. If they like them, then that's great. But equally, I always think that flowers sitting in one place for a fortnight inevitably look a little bit kind of dust, even if they're still fresh. They look kind of dusty after 2 weeks. I would say a week was plenty. But anyway, it's the client's prerogative, obviously, to do these things. So this may not work. I may not end up doing flowers every week for Briar, every 2 weeks for Briar. But this is my first delivery. So I'm going to go around the garden and we're going to collect some foliage. It's a lovely season for foliage. And I'm going to do a very similar piece for the drawing room at Number One. Maybe a little flowerier. Maybe not. I love these clients that let me pretty much do what I like, which is very nice. So come with me. We're going to go round the October flower farm. My flower season is officially over a week ago. I've had students here this week. We've done our flower farming intensive workshop. It's been absolutely fantastic. And as planned, we cut all the leftover flowers pretty much yesterday, but the sun was shining, and so there may be things popping up since then that I can use in the drawing room of Number One arrangement. But it's going to look very autumnal and quite light, arabesque-y, whatever I do. So come along, let's go cutting, see what we can find. And if you're new to the channel, you're very welcome. Please do subscribe, press the bell icon, and we'll tell you when we've got more clips coming up. And if any of the tips and tricks we give you along the way are useful, you can always buy me a coffee, or better still, come on in and join my club, which is where all the fun happens. Well, I mean, obviously the channel's good, but the fun is really in the club, isn't it, clubbers? The clubbers don't see this bit. They get clips with no ads and no me saying please join the club. Obviously they've already joined the club. Anyway, come on, enough, I'm burbling. So for a pretty much over season, there's a surprising amount up here that's useful for cutting for this kind of a project. And I'm going to just show you a few things, and do think for yourself, oh, that might be useful. I'm also cutting for my autumn wreath demo, which is this evening. You can book a place on the website, and even if you see this clip after the demo, you can order it as a download. It's a lovely time of year for making an autumn wreath, so I'm cutting for that as well. Right, well, I'm cutting for a restaurant, so obviously anything herby is a good idea. And look at this lovely bay with its berries. Extremely nice. So this is quite annoying. My Niwaki snips, which I hammer, these people work for me very, very hard, my snips. The spring keeps bouncing out. Does that mean I get cross with the Niwaki and tell them off and say your product is rubbish? But no, of course not. Because the quality of the service is so high that I will take them over to Shaftesbury, where they have their headquarters, and they will mend them for me and give them a polish and a shine, and they'll come back good as new. Luckily I have another pair. These have been dropped so many times. Fabrizio has filed the pointy tips of the blades down because I kept breaking them. Always and still the Veronicastrum for structure and height, and it'll sort of dry in the vase. The soft foliage, like this, the cotinus and the variegated cornus and things, won't hold up well for too long. Not for a fortnight. It might do a week happily, but it won't. So I'm not cutting it for this project. But sedum dries very nicely in the vase, so we'll have some sedum. Just say yes to the silky grasses, and of course the faithful hydrangeas. And I've got these lovely yellow crab apples which don't hold terribly well on the branch. Look, you can see they're already bletting, even though we've had very little cold weather. So I may get a few just for a detail, but because this is quite a sort of clumpy piece of floristry, I've got to be careful not to make it bitty. So I may not use them. I may have them for my wreath instead. Because the wreath is obviously going on my door. And if the birds come and eat bletted crab apples off it, I'll be very happy. Sometimes you need a little step up if you're my height. So an upside down wheelbarrow is not a bad idea, but please do bear in mind health and safety. This is a metal wheelbarrow. It's a strong one. It's relatively new, and it's got really strong struts. So I don't think that if I tread on it, my foot is going to go through. Please don't stand on an upside down wheelbarrow if you suspect that your foot will go through it and you might break your leg. Okay? Please don't. I warned you. But that's what I wanted. So those of you who've been here before know the drill. I'm going to make the piece, play some nice music. If you don't like the music, mute it. Usually classical, depends what I find. Anyway, I'm going to make the piece, and then we'll have a look at it and see whether we think, A, it's going to last a fortnight, and B, whether we like it. On we go. And there it is. It's going in sort of a dark corner. The idea is to hide the workings of the bar in the restaurant. It needs to be relatively heavy bottomed because otherwise it might get knocked over easily. So it's got quite a big space to fill. I hope it's not too big. I tend to go quite large, but we'll see. Anyway, it's the first week. I like the apples really a lot. So this was the one for the drawing room at number 1, very autumnal. Autumnal. And I will take them in and deliver them now. And it all just gets, I'm not sure chucked in the back of the car is the right description, carefully wedged. Oh, there we go. Look, it fills the space very nicely.
Oh, it looks brilliant.
Oh, thank you very much. Excellent. Right.